Listen to the Locker Room Pulse on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music and Amazon Music. For sports fans by sports fans.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Locker Room Pulse. I'm Alfie and I'm joined by Freddie and Finley, and today we've got Adam Cash on, so let's get into this episode.
So hi Adam, how have you been?
All good guys. How's things?
Yeah, all
It's all well.
Good.
Looks like a good little studio you've got there.
Yeah,
Cheers.
it's pretty good to be fair.
Yeah.
So, do you want to just start off just sort of telling everyone a bit about yourself?
Yeah. What regarding football coaching, my career?
Anything really, yeah?
Everything in general. Yeah.
Everything in general.
Yeah. So, 30 years of age. Used to play football. Semi-pro, was sort of in the academy system from very young. Chewed up and spit out. I released from Wickham at 14, and then went into grassroots football at a young age. Went into a football scholarship program at Bisham Abbey with Five Academy, and then started my non-league playing career at sort of 16, 17. Started to find my feet and was doing well, and then I had my first knee injury at 21. I ruptured my ACL at 21 years of age, and throughout the rest of my career, I ended up doing 4 ACLs. So, on my second, ended up setting up my brand Football Icon Academy, and then ever since then, I've been coaching. Learning my trade, trying to get players onto the next stage. And I guess, that's where I'm at today, and probably how we met. I also recognise, the lad to the left of you, Alfie? Remind me your name again. It's going to kill me. Freddie, yeah. And your mum is
Amanda.
Amanda, that's it. You used to work with my mum. That's right.
Yeah,
I used to coach Freddie. Freddie, you're a good player. Are you still playing football?
Yeah, I'm still playing on Saturdays. Yeah, I used to
Where
go
are you
to your
playing now?
Matthew camp.
That's right. Where are you playing?
I'm playing for Chelvey at the moment on Saturday in the East Berks League. Chelvey Sports in the East Berks League.
Oh, brilliant. Were you at Slough? Wasn't you were at Slough for a little bit?
Yeah. I was there for like 5 years, and then
Slough. Yeah, that's where I last saw you. And so on the start of my sort of coaching journey, I used to coach Freddie for a little bit at Langley. He was probably too good for the development players down there, so I ended up moving on. But I've had the opportunity to work with thousands of players now and built a business out of it where I've got the freedom to work on the business every day and coach in the evening, and it's going pretty well.
I just want to ask, obviously from the Langley camp, did you expect it to get where it got to today, like the academy and everything like that?
We're still a very small scale business, so we're by no means, big fish or have made it just yet. We're still very much grafting and trying to be the best that we can be. But from a business point of view, we started very small. We had, maybe 10 kids at Langley, and it's blossomed to 1,200 kids now at 16 locations. So definitely want it to be better and want to continue to grow and push. But would I have thought it would have got to where it is today? Probably not. When I very first started, it was just about doing some small group sessions, some one-to-ones, and to keep myself, busy really. But it's grown into something that I'm proud of and I love doing. I'm addicted to doing it. So yes, it's definitely getting there for sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask as well. Obviously, you said you've coached a lot of kids in your time. Can you give us some examples of some of the best players, what we can expect in the future, and who's going to go on and really make a name for themselves?
Best players that I've worked with, or best players that are coming through?
Worked with.
So the best one that I've worked with was a lad called Jaden Magoma, who's currently at Brentford on loan to Rangers. Was on loan at Preston last year, playing the champ last year, and is playing in Scottish Prem at the moment, doing very well. Rangers obviously doing well. But I worked with Jaden for a little bit, at, funny enough, my Langley venue. He come down with a bunch of other boys and ended up putting him into Tottenham on a trial. We put him in at like a development phase with Tottenham, and he went in there, done really well, then got an academy trial, and they signed him, stayed there, sold to Southampton, and then went from Southampton to Brentford, I believe, and then he's playing. So he'll play for England one day. I'm pretty confident in that. He is a very, very um, amazing talent. So we got players like him coming through, and I also you think there's a lot of boys younger boys that are phenomenal. I think the level of the game is absolutely scary. So I think in the next 5 to 10 years, the boys that will be coming through for England and into the Premier League will be good. And the good thing is that they're getting the opportunity to do so now, which is great.
Yeah, just moving sort of on to Hayes now. You've become head of the academy a few years ago.
Yeah, I took over Hayes 3 seasons ago, when the club was, from a youth perspective, not doing so great. Didn't have a lot of clubs. Didn't have a lot of teams. Sorry, and went in there. It's 2023, the 23-24 season. Took over in June. Put everything together in July, and then pre-season was in August. So managed to get under 8s to under 18s in our first season. Did that within the space of 2 months. We just grown from strength to strength, really. In our first season, we had, I think, 1 promotion. Year 2, we had 2 promotions. And now in our 3rd season, every age group from under 12s upwards is in the Premier Division of the JPL. So it's going well. We've moved quite a few players now into pro clubs. Probably close to 8 players that have gone into pro clubs. We've got 1 into Millwall, Stevenage, Southampton, Watford, Swindon, Reading, QPR, MK Dons. Got current boys in at Brentford, 1 in at Reading, 1 in at Wimbledon, 1 in at Stevenage. So it's definitely picking up. We've got clubs from all over coming to games. We've got Spurs coming to watch our 14s on Saturday. I just had a message from them. So we got great relationships with the local clubs, and we're starting to become a little bit more recognised that what we're doing is good. We've got a good programme, good ethos, good culture, good people in the building, and we want to continue to grow and get better.
What would you say your favourite moment, proudest moment is so far?
Well, my proudest moment is probably, every time I'm proud of it, but is watching my brother play in the Premier League week on week. My sister's presenting, the Women's Champions League, working with the likes of Katie Abdo and Thierry Henry, Jamie Carragher. So very proud of that. Proud of what we've built as a company, definitely. But that's not all down to me. That's down to people that I've got in with me on a daily basis. Billy, Fletch, Jack Manite, people that have helped me grow from the ground up, and help us build this company. But proudest moment today, probably not myself. I mean, I'm doing okay, but watching my brother at PSG away, Champions League, that was phenomenal. Making his debut for Poland, phenomenal. So yeah, definitely a few proud moments from a family point of view. But yeah, I'm proud of what we're building, the brand, and where we want to continue to go. I'm addicted to it. I love it. So it's all going well so far.
Just speaking about Matty as well, obviously he's a great player now. He's thriving in the Premier League. But from what age did you sort of know he was going to go to the top? Was it his attitude that made him, or was it just his talent? Was he working every day?
I think growing up, we were joined at the hip. Really, we did everything together. We trained together. We did every pre-season together, and I think we were we were both very dedicated. We had my dad was very tough on us growing up, very disciplined. But he didn't really have to tell us to go and do it. We would do it ourselves. So we would go out and train, and we would go to the gym together, and we would do things just off our own back because we were addicted to becoming professional footballers. In terms of when I knew, I didn't really know, and I don't think you really do because of how difficult it is. I knew from a very young age that he had talent, but we both did. We were, like I said, we were joint at the hip. We did everything together. We knew we were good footballers, but I guess the real turning point was for me when I really sort of clocked on that he was going to go to the next phase was two things actually. Remember my mum ringing me. I was coming back from work, and she said, Matt's going in at trial at Nottingham Forest. I was like, wow, that's incredible. But the first one was after his first year or 6 months into being at Forest, he came home. I hadn't seen him for ages. And he came home probably 6, 8 months in, and he walked home and he just looked like an absolute specimen. His legs were out here, his trunk, his core. And he looked like an athlete. They'd obviously put him through his paces in terms of in the gym every single day. And he just was molded into this specimen. So that caught my eye. I was a bit like, oh, okay, fair play. I had two reasons. First time was when he come back. The second time was he got his first year scholar, then he got his first year pro. And at the time I was currently playing for Margate, and my dad was the assistant manager. So I was sort of on the fringes. I was still young at the time, on the fringes, in and out the squad, getting minutes here and there. But anyway, we had a pre-season game, and Margate actually played Forest under 21s. So Forest drove all the way down. And Matt was one of the main dogs in that 21s team at the time. And there was players like George Grant, phenomenal player, plays for Salford at the moment. And you had Matt, you had Joe Worrell, I think Tyler Walker, who had a really good spell at Coventry. Joe Worrell's at Burnley at the moment. Not really in the team, but they had a really good side. And he just bossed that whole game. And Margate were like a good side. We got promoted that year. We had players in there that were probably on £600-700 a week for non-league, which is good money back in that time. And we had players sort of like from the South or the Prem that dropped down to go and play in that league because the money was so good. And my brother bullied him, like dominated him. And I was sat on the bench, and Matty went shoulder to shoulder with a player called Charlie Wasmer. He's a good friend of mine, like big, like beast, easily 95, 98 kg. Went shoulder to shoulder. My brother weighed him, like gymmed him. And I was sat on the bench, and all the boys looked at me and went, Crusher, your brother's effing good, you know. And that was quite a funny one. But the thing with Matt is he's had probably 5, maybe more managers that he's played for. Forest, at his time at Forest, he had a spell of different managers. At Villa, he's had Dean Smith, Steven Gerrard, Unai Emery, and every single manager that has come in, and Matt's been there, he's never been dropped. Touch wood, he's never been dropped. He's always started. He's always been one of the key players. And not only do you have to have the ability to do that, you have to have the mental strength and capacity to do that. And the biggest thing that I've always said with Matt is his mental strength is probably one of the best I've ever seen. Played Champions League game at Villa, 8:00 kickoff, come home. By the time you get home, you get to change. He comes up to the box, sees the family, we end up leaving. Sometimes you get home at 1:00, 12:30, 1:00. I hadn't seen him for ages, so I said, let's go play some snooker, play some darts. Played darts for about half an hour. And he's like, right, I've got to go do my recovery at probably 1:30, 2:00 in the morning. So he gets into the ice bath, gets into the sauna, does his red light, does his normal text, does his stretching. Walked out at 2 o'clock in the morning. He's in the ice bath shivering. I went, "What are you doing?" He said, "Get to bed. Get to bed, mate." He's like, he turned around and said to me, "When you're at the top, mate, that's what you got to do." Um, He's just for the last sort of however many years it's been now, it's not really been one phase where I've gone, that's how I knew he's going to be a top player. It's sort of like every milestone, making his debut, starting 5 games in a row, getting a new contract, getting player of the season at Forest, making his move to Villa, signing for 16 million quid, signing a new contract at Villa, playing in the Premier League 200 plus times. It's like, you have to keep, it's not like once, oh, I've made it. It's like if he had 5 bad games in a row now, he's done. Not done, but he'd be benched. So somebody then would maybe play instead of him. And that's the thing with football. You're only as good as your last training session, you're only as good as your last game. And you have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. So quite a long answer to that one. I was ranting on there, but yeah.
You said earlier you're proud of Matty obviously playing for Poland. Was there much for switching from being sort of an English player to a Polish player, or was it sort of straightforward for Matty?
I mean, growing up, Polish culture and that we've always had that ingrained in us into our DNA growing up. So Poland was a big part, and Polish culture was a big part of our upbringing, as well as obviously living in England. And my mum's side of the family was all from Poland. My nan and granddad migrated from Poland to here from the war. My dad grew up in Birmingham. My other nan and granddad, proper black country from Birmingham. So it's not as if we can't get into the England team, let's just go play for Poland. That's not the case at all. I mean, Polish culture has been a big part of our family growing up, and we felt it was right to do so. And he's been blessed with the opportunity to play in the World Cup, and hopefully the World Cup again this year, providing they qualify. And seeing him play on that stage, his first debut at Krakow, and then the World Cup was phenomenal and massive for us as a family and him as an individual.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on what you said earlier about Matty's like mentality, and it's what you've got to do when you're at the top level. I've spoken to lots of coaches before, and they always bang on about mentality and attitude, and especially young players. Is that something that you sort of like tell your lads when you're coaching and stuff like that? They
Yeah.
always have the best mentality to go and win.
Yeah, I think what I always sort of say to players, I'm not there to coach their energy or their enthusiasm or to try and get them up for it. If they don't want to do it, they're not going to make it. End of. So their mentality and focus is the biggest part. Yes, you have to be technically gifted and talented, and you have to see pictures, and physically you have to be there. You have to be able to run. You have to be able to compete. You have to be robust. You have to be injury free at times. But everything then results back to mentality. If you get an injury, your mentality and your mindset needs to be, I need to improve my body. I need to focus on myself. I need to eat better. I need to sleep better. I need to recover better. And if you haven't got the mindset and mentality to do that, you're going to struggle. Right. I had a bad game on Saturday. Manager's on me. I'm under a little bit of pressure. I'm getting slated on Twitter. I've got 40,000 fans in the stadium. And if your mentality is to crumble and go into your shell, you're done. It's as simple as that. You have to break boundaries, and you have to continue to want to get better. And I think kids at a young age, there was something on TikTok that I saw. think it was Steven Gerrard that said it, or someone else, I can't remember. He said, if you're having to get your kid out of the car to go and do a 1-to-1 that you paid for, the kid, you know, he just naturally want to do it. They have to become addicted to being the best version that they can be. We've got some kids at the football club that, are overweight and and struggle in areas, and their mentality and focus isn't to eat better foods. They might be uneducated, and that's where, as a football club, we've got to try and help them. But they need to get better in that area. Right, their left foot ain't good enough. They need to get better in that area. So everything, not only just in football, but in life, if they're not mentally focused, or their mentality isn't, they want to be the best, then you're going to struggle, and that's a fact. That's just the way it is.
You've been on a lot of like tours as like an academy. What would you say your favourite one's been so far?
We recently just got back from Celtic, which was a really good trip, and it was a great insight to seeing how they operate up there. I got to meet, key personnel at the football club, and their training ground, their training facilities were phenomenal. Best trip so far would probably be, from a coach's enjoyment point of view, probably Dubai. But from an eye-opener point of view, was probably Barcelona. We watched 2 games there. We watched the Champions League game. We watched the league game. We trained at the first team training ground from their La Masia academy coaches. So I think the overall detail and quality, but we've done Real Madrid, and that was just as good. And I think we're going to Juventus in October. And I said it to the kids when they're out there. These trips aren't just to, come out and have a holiday. They're there to inspire you, and for you to see the next stage. And the reality is those kids probably won't make that next stage. So it's good for them to see it. The sort of likelihood of becoming a pro footballer now, I think it's even harder than it was back in, 10, 15 years ago. I think it's even harder now.
In the first team, they're doing quite well at step 4. They're pushing for playoffs. Is there a pathway for the academy kids to go and play for the first team?
Yeah, so we've got 4 in there at the moment, training with them, and they occasionally are on the bench. We haven't had one breakthrough as just yet, and sort of be a regular starter, getting minutes every single week. And that the reality is it's hard. Even at step 4, you think, step 4, I can play that level. But the reality is it's so much more difficult than you think. You've got to be physically robust. You've got to be strong. You have to be able to adapt to even the pressures of non-league football, where it's all about 3 points, win at all costs. They're not bothered about how our playing style is, or how we want to try and move the ball. It is whatever it takes to win that game. Go and win that game of football, because as soon as managers lose 3 or 4 on the bounce, they're under pressure from the chairman. So we definitely have a phenomenal pathway that we've created over the last 3 years, and that's down to not just myself, but the likes of John Fletcher, Roberto, the under-18s coach, Jack Knight, under-16s coach, the chairman, Dale Priddy, and that will continue to get better. But very happy with how the pathway is going. We've got players from under-16s playing in our under-18s and our under-23s. So last night, 3 of our under-16s played in the under-18s. 1 scored 1, and the others, I think, got an assist. So that's going well. But the main focus is to get players out. Yes, we want to get them into clubs, into the first team, but the first team, step 4, I want to get players into, Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 4 clubs. Get them out. That's got to be their desire as well. But the reality is when they get to under 18s, under 23s, they're in the under 23s. Realistically, they're not good enough to play step 3, step 4 football. So it's difficult making the jump from 23s to first team. So next year we're going to have, instead of the 23s, we're going to have a B team. So the B team will play a step 5 or step 6 men's league. So they'll be able to adapt quicker if they were to go from step 5 to step 3 or step 4. That's the goal for next season.
Yeah, sort of jumping back to obviously Hannah, she does work for the CBS. Has she always been passionate about being on mic, on camera?
Hannah,
Yeah.
she's always been good at it. Yeah, ever since growing up, she's had a knack for it. She's just phenomenal at it, and that's another thing that's really not easy. By the way, standing there on camera, you got an earpiece in here, probably 10 people telling you what to say, what to do. Right now, you're going for a break. Focus on this, touch on this, taking too long on this, and then you've got to deliver what's in front of you on a screen, as well as make it look like all of that is not going on in your head, and you're presentable and elegant and you speak well. Sometimes when I speak, my brain goes all foggy and I'm like, yeah. But Hannah, it's just fluent. It just comes off the tongue. So, but I think that's a lot of that comes down to her education and how she educated how her education went at school. Me and Matt was definitely not good at school. I was sort of in between. So if Matt wasn't a footballer, I mean, I don't know what he'd be doing. But Hannah's very bright, very speaks very well. So she's always had a passion for it, broadcasting, and she'll continue to do well in that space.
Yeah. And then I think sort of final question from me. I just wanted to ask, do you have any advice for players our age and then players who are younger that are sort of developing into under 15s, going up to 18s football to go on and really push on and have a good career?
So advice for younger ages is just to enjoy it. I think it's difficult for me just to say enjoy it, and what does that actually mean? But they've got to love doing it and love getting better and improving on themselves, and just loving the game of football. Enjoy competing, enjoy failing, enjoy trying new things, focusing on new positions, not just tied down to one position or one specific area of the pitch. If you want to, because the reality is if you go into a club, they're going to put you in a different position anyway. See how you adapt to that. Like our under 16 striker's just gone in at West Brom. They played him at left wing, and he was like, he's never played there before. So definitely be open-minded to failing and getting better. The only way you get better is by failing. And then for older players, sort of 16, 17, is try and find an environment where you can play first team football as soon as possible. Because if you're 17 years of age playing first team football, you are way more attractive on the eye to a pro club than an under 23s or maybe a lad who's got a scholar and playing under 18s football. If you're 17, 18 playing men's football, step 2, step 3, you're likely to move up the food chain a lot quicker. But as an overall, I would say you have to be different and you have to be dedicated to your trade. Have to be a beast in that market. You have to be addicted to wanting to get better every single day. If you're in the gym, it's 10 reps, do 12. If it's on a run, you're doing 5K, do 7. That type of mentality, mindset, focus, and that's probably cheesy me saying that, but that is the truth.
Just my final question about Aston Villa.
you think they'll make it in the top 4 still?
I hope they do. I think we'll be okay. I mean, Emery's definitely the best man for the job, and Matt goes on about Emery a lot, and how he is just he's obsessed with it. But I think with what they've got in place from a star perspective, they've obviously got a few injuries right now, and I think they'll soon come back right round the sort of important stage in the next few weeks, maybe next month, and that will boost us a little bit more. But I think we'll be okay. I do think City will win the league, though. I just can't see Arsenal holding on. I think they'll bottle it, if I'm honest.
Well, I'm an Arsenal fan, so cheers for that.
Yeah, sorry, bud. I think City have been there too many times. Their depth and their killers, those relentless killers, I just think they'll come through. Even like the other night, Arsenal, time wasting, taking their time, fans. You can just sense it. But I could be wrong. You never know. That's the beauty of the Premier League. That's the beauty of the Premier League and the sport that we love and the sport that we play. That's why we love it, innit? That's why it's the best sport in the world. But I do hope they qualify. I'm pretty confident they will.
Just something I want to quickly speak about is, I know you love your golf. I think I'll see on your story all the time you're playing it elsewhere.
Yeah, love it.
Who is probably the best player you've played golf alongside?
I played with JT a few times. I know Jimmy Bullard very well. I used to play for Jimmy at Levered, so we have a good relationship. I haven't played golf with Jimmy. I played football for Jimmy, but I haven't played golf with him yet. But that's going to happen soon. So he's obviously a phenomenal golfer. Obviously Matt, my brother, we always have a good game. And I'm going to I want to get into that industry a little bit more. Me and my brother want to do something together. So hopefully it's almost watch this space type of thing, and we can provide some content for everyone, and I can play with better golfers, but not really anyone that anyone would know. No one on the tour that I've played with, but celebs have played with a few from my golf club.
Cheers for coming on, mate.
No worries. I enjoyed it.
Your time. See you later. Thank you very much.
See you soon, guys. All right. Have a nice day.
See you soon. See you later.